Where did the powers separate?
Well, let me address that a little bit at the county level, because it is a little bit different than the city. In the city council is a combination of legislative and fiscal body. They do pass ordinances like ultimate fighting, or if they want to pass an ordinance that allows for trash pickup or leaf burning or things like that, rezoning issues. The city council deals with that. The county council and the county commissioners have a different split of responsibilities. County commissioners are a combination of administrative, legislative, which gets confusing sometimes, but they will vote on the things like rezonings and ordinance changes in the county. The county council is pretty much limited to fiscal matters. You know, they deal with the budget every year. It's the county council that would pass a local option income tax, for instance, or county adjusted gross income tax. So the county council's duties are a little more limited than the city council's duties. And in this whole Kernan-Shepherd reorganization that they're talking about, going maybe from 3 county commissioners to 1, the 1 county commissioner would then only be administrative, and the county council would then have the similar duties to what a city council has, where it's combination legislative and fiscal. Now, there are some counties, there are some states, Ohio's an example, that doesn't have a county council. They have 3 commissioners, 3 elected heads, who do everything. They don't have a county council. So.
I've got a quick question here. You have a layout in Goshen with your mayor versus the city council that's different from the Elkhart one.
No, not really. The difference is between a Class 2 city and a Class 3 city. Arvis said it's based on size. Below 35,000 population, you can't be a Class 2 city. Once you cross that population threshold, the city council decides if they want to become a Class 2 city. And the primary differences are, in a Class 2 city, Mayor Moore appoints his controller, his fiscal person, and then they have a city clerk who deals with the court and deals with the city council and does some of those administrative functions. But the financial matters are handled by the controller, and the mayor controls who that is. In a Class 3 city, the fiscal person is elected, it's a clerk treasurer, and the mayor is elected, and it can serve as a check and balance sometimes, so there are some good things about it. There are some bad things if you don't happen to get along with your clerk treasurer, or if you have a bad clerk treasurer, there's not much the mayor can do about it. And they think that the buck stops with the mayor, but the mayor is not, he didn't have anything to do with the fiscal person. So we get along okay in Goshen with both of them being elected. But that's one of the differences in a Class 2 city, and then also in a Class 2 city, the mayor does not preside over the city council meeting as they do in a third-class city, Class 3 city. And his council president presides over the meeting. Where were we?
Okay, I want to remind everybody that we're going to open up for general questions after we get through the list of questions. And so if you could please write them down and we'll clarification then. I had some papers that somebody had taken to photocopy, but it had the different functions. It was an outline of the different functions and administrative responsibilities versus legislative responsibilities.
I put it back there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody wants to copy that, just let me know, and I'll send that home with you. It's just a really easy to read outline of how that kind of breaks down. Okay. I guess you kind of answered the question, the difference between county council and the county commission. Is there anything you guys want to add on that, either of you? No? Okay. How do cities and counties interact with townships?
Well, to be honest, we don't have a lot of interaction with townships. The city of Goshen provides fire service. The township provides fire service in the areas of the township outside the city of Goshen. Now, in the case of Elkhart Township, there's not a lot of Elkhart Township that's not in the city of Goshen. And in fact, the 3 fire stations are in the city of Goshen. The township fire stations, one's right across the city limits. But as the city has grown, it's eaten up a lot of the township base. But they still provide fire protection outside the city. Township government does, you know, one of the beefs that cities have sometimes is that people who live outside the city can feed off of our services and benefit from our services without paying any taxes in the city. For instance, would be somebody who lives in the Orchard can come in and use our bike trails and our parks and all those things, but they never pay anything to support those things. It's only city residents that support those. In the case of Elkhart Township, they do pay us a little bit of money, voluntarily pay us a little bit of money to help with our parks. It's not a lot, but it is a token that shows that they recognize that they do use the services and they pay us something. So, but there's not a lot of interaction between the two. We did try to have some conversations with the township a while ago when the city needed to buy a ladder truck. These are expensive pieces of equipment, and we were looking at $650,000. And the township at the same time was dealing with buying a ladder truck. And so I said, well, you know, it's not very often either department uses a ladder truck. Can we jointly buy a ladder truck? So we got together and sat down and talked about it. But then, you know, one said, well, you know, if the city is participating, that means you'll probably want to store it in one of your stations. And I said, well, we're manned 24/7, and if we get a township call, we can drive right to the scene. Well, that wasn't going to work because they wanted to have their own ladder truck. So instead of $650,000 worth of ladder trucks in Elkhart Township, we have about $1.2 million worth of ladder trucks. You know, we try to have some of those conversations. In Goshen, we have the Wreath Interpretive Center, Nature Interpretive Center, but we have no staff for that. And in fact, when it was proposed to the city, it was sold on the idea that we aren't going to have any interpretive staff. So we built this center mostly with the Wreath family donations. And then later, somebody decided, well, we really need to have interpretive staff. Well, the county doesn't have a center. They don't have an interpretive center, but they have interpretive staff. So I thought, well, let's get together and we'll let them use our center and their staff. Well, that didn't work either. So some of these consolidation discussions might go better in the future, but so far they haven't. You want to talk about township?
I think our basic agreements come with firefighters, covering different areas. I've seen that in Elkhart with Oslo Township, Cleveland Townships, and if they need us, you know, we'll go to them, and if we need them, they'll come to us, and that's kind of basically been our arrangement with them through my duration in city government.
My reading has come up with townships' basic responsibility is poor relief in counties. And is that something active?
It's primarily poor relief and fire protection.
And fire protection.
In our case, they also provide some park services. But yeah, we do refer people to the township trustee if we have poor relief requests that come into the city. We don't have staff that deals with that.
Okay.
And so we do send them to the township trustee.